All right. We're back, baby.
What's going on, everybody?
It is the American Fan Podcast. What episode?
14.
It is the 14th installment.
Yes, it is the 14th. Now, just making sure. What?
I thought it was 15.
No.
No, I think
Here, I'll fact check live right now. No, I
Fact check live!
Yeah, it's episode 14. The last one was episode 13.
I'll thank you.
Oh
my god.
Gee, what a great way to start
Dude,
the episode.
What
Yes,
a
this
great
is
way
episode
to start the episode. We got some new stuff in house on the
Yeah.
little set.
As you can see, we're all in our winter gear because it's freezing like all frozen hell in here.
It is. We do film in a barn.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do this for the audience.
Hey,
You're gonna
you
love
wanna
it.
do it? All right.
Watch. No, I did not start vaping. I have not started vaping.
Nope.
That is just our breath.
And it's just because of the cold air. So,
How cool is this? How cool is it that we
How
film
cool
in
is
any
it?
weather circumstance, any temperature, anything, we film.
If only you guys saw
What
how
is
she was mocking us in the
doing
background.
In the
but-
background. What
Mocking
is-
him?
Yep, as always.
You look like a velociraptor. Is that what he looks like?
That's how
to
she
you?
sounds half the
That's
time.
not how you say that word.
What, velociraptor?
It's Velosa.
Velociraptor.
Velociraptor.
Yeah.
Velosa.
Sorry, I mispronounced a dinosaur that I never met. Unbelievable. But yeah,
But yeah, we got some stuff to talk about today.
We're gonna have a fun little episode. I want to make note. We have a little Charlie Brown tree. We can't turn this around.
Nope.
We're not gonna do that. We're not
It's
gonna bother.
actually technically called a pencil tree.
Pencil tree?
Yes, because that's what Alyssa is gonna get, and Mom actually just told me that yesterday. So that I found out the technical term yesterday.
Okay.
Who invited her? So far today, she has been on a warpath. She's mocking you.
What did I tell you? This
correcting-
is always going to happen.
Correcting my description of my own Charlie Brown Christmas tree. I don't care if it's technically.
Well,
called
she
a
likes to
pencil
kill
tree.
the moment with that one, so
That
that's
was
just the way
actually
it
kind of
is.
funny though.
So, but honestly, we were going to lead things off regarding, and I was initially going to ignore this for a long while, like throughout the months it was being talked about. Now I think we got to talk about this just because it's something that I forewarned the Republicans of last year when the election was just about to wrap and Trump, was still running against Kamala Harris, and that is Mamdani winning the position of mayor of New York City.
That's crazy to me. I still can't believe that he won, but I can in a way.
So
People over the last 3 months are a little fed up with what's going on with Republicans.
So the way I look at it is, it sucks, and so here's my view. I thought they were screwed either way, and I mean I'm not talking like a Harrison Trump where Trump you might get screwed a little bit, and that's gonna be we're gonna talk about something else regarding Trump later on, but it wasn't like you might get slightly screwed as opposed to Harris where you might as well just take Satan's pitchfork and shove it up your ass. That's basically what we were looking at in the last election.
Well, we're off to a rearing start, ladies and gentlemen.
Well,
What a
look,
visual.
I'm sorry, she was
No,
terrible. She was
Worst
absolutely
candidate.
horrendous, and she
Worst-
still is.
worst
She's
candidate
at a
I've ever
touch.
saw, by far.
So a lot of people do say she's like the worst presidential candidate we've actually ever had. I would be inclined to agree, although there is Biden there. But the thing is I did truly believe that New York was screwed either way. I knew nothing of the third party, the Republican that ran. I have no idea.
They had no chance.
But then you had the two choices you had in New York really were Mamdani and Andrew Cuomo, who completely fucked the state in 2020 during the COVID lockdowns.
Accurate.
Now, don't get me wrong. Here's what would have been my reaction with either one. Mamdani wins. Oh, I would have just reacted that way. And when he won, I was just like, great. But if Cuomo had won, I would not have been happy. I would not have been happy. But I would have done this for a second. Phew. like, you know, like few, but then it would have been like going back to, oh great, New York is screwed. But on a scale of like 1 to 10 on being screwed, I think with Cuomo he would have screwed New York on a 9 out of 10 scale, 9.5 out of 10 on a scale.
Agreed.
But then Mamdani is like an 11 out of 10. I mean, he is one of the worst choices. However, to say that it's shocking, I actually disagree with you. I'm not shocked at all. And I'll tell you why. Once he said one statement, I said, that dude's going to win. All it took was one statement, and I said he's going to win the election.
By shocking, what I was referring to are some of the demographics that voted for him, if that makes any sense.
What demographics voted for him?
He had 76% of the Jewish demographic in the city of New York City.
What?
76% of people
Of Jewish people
under
in
the
New York
Jewish
City?
people 35 or younger. 76% of the vote voted for Mamdani. Put that one in your hat, and just put that.
I heard a
around.
rumor that Mamdani was.
It's insane.
I heard Mamdani was funded by George Soros, anyways, and like Jewish donors.
There's got to be a connection there.
So like,
I would agree.
but then again, I have no data to back up that statement. It's just, you know, I can believe it because really is no difference between left and right other than one likes guns and one hates guns, but in reality they're all in bed with each other. But all it took was one statement and Mamdani was going to win the election. That's when he was asked, I forget it was Cuomo. I know he asked him this, but this was like a separate, a separate conversation. And that's when he was asked, are you going to visit Israel? Why would you ask a mayoral candidate that? That's just beyond me. That's like asking, are you going to visit France? Like, who gives a shit, guys? But his response was, no, I'm going to stay here in New York where I'm supposed to be. And it's like,
that's
the winning statement of 2025.
That's where they said he leapfrogged ahead in the polls, and he never gave that up. There was a panel. Every single person capitulated and said, every single person, other than Mamdani, said I would go back to Israel.
We gotta go help
I would make a pilgrimage.
It's like
Cuomo used the term. He'd make another pilgrimage back to Israel.
That's why, honestly, if Cuomo had
what?
kept his mouth shut about Israel, I'm going to be honest with you, I actually don't know who would have won between Cuomo and Mamdani. But I got to tell you, if Cuomo had shut up about Israel, I think it would have been how they were trying to say like the 2024 presidential election was like, oh, it's like super close. It's like on a knife's edge or the edge of a knife or something like that. I think you would have actually had that with Cuomo and Mamdani. I think it would have been like, no one can predict if who's going to win, just because it would have been like a nice edge or something. But because he would have shot up at Israel and was trying to accuse Mamdani, and again, neither of us here are fans of Mamdani. I think he is the worst thing I actually think he's the worst candidate in New York history. I'm just going to be honest with you. But I got to tell you guys, this is what happens when the modern right decides to say, with people like Ted Cruz, I'm not kidding you on this. I watched this entire podcast. I think you watched this too, Fletcher. Mm-hmm. And I watched this clip like resurface. I think someone on another pod brought this up. But it's when Ted Cruz said, the reason why I entered the Senate is to help, and I might be butchering a little bit, but to help and support Israel. Why? Look, I don't even agree with this on a presidential level. It's one thing to mention it on a presidential level. Again, I don't agree, but it's one thing to mention when you're running for the president of the United States. Why are you talking about this when you're running for your city or state elections? What does your state of Texas or New York have to do with Israel? Nothing. Explain that to me. Again, if you want to make an argument for the presidential election, even though I don't agree, that's fine. But if you're running for your city, why are you talking about Israel? I'm sorry.
He used the term serve. You're in service.
To serve Israel? You're talking about Ted Cruz?
Yeah, Ted Cruz used that's what Tucker Carlson had a problem with. He used the term like, I'm here to serve the United States and serve Israel. Like, wait a minute. No, you're not.
You are a U.S. Senator.
Yes, you're here to serve
U.S. Senator. It literally isn't your name. U.S. Senator.
The U.S. government, the U.S. constituents that put you in the U.S. government.
Israel
That's
didn't
what
vote
your
you
job
in.
is. Your job has nothing to do with Israel. Nothing.
Can I ask you something, Fletch?
Yeah.
Super quick question.
Mhm.
If I'm running for Congress in Ohio or the Senate in Ohio, explain this to me. Would it make any sense to you or Morgan or anybody else if I said I am running for Ohio Senate to bless Spain?
No, 100% that wouldn't make any sense.
Would I win an election with that in my city?
But Spain's not donating hundreds of millions of dollars, like to the representatives of Congress.
Didn't Biden get like $1 billion?
APAC is an institution of chaos and disorder in the U.S. government.
So ridiculous. I'm
they
sorry.
have bought and paid for so many people in the U.S. Congress right now. It's sickening, and it's got to stop.
Where's America
But
First, guys?
I don't see it stopping.
American Right, I need you to answer me on this one. Answer us here.
It's not
If
going
there's
to.
even one of you guys watching this podcast, I want you to leave your answer down in the comments right now, and I'll gladly respond to you. We will gladly respond to you. Explain this to me. Where is America First? This is why Mamdani won. I am warning you guys on the Republican side. If you want to continue to win elections, you need to stop prioritizing a foreign country, a foreign government, over your United States government. I don't like my government, and neither does Fletcher. I think they're corrupt as all hell. By the way, we're going to get into that in a minute, too. Both sides of the spectrum. I don't like my government, but you need to shut up about Israel when it comes to your... Again, if you want to make an argument for Israel in your 2028 election, again, I'm going to advise you to go against that. I think that would lose you the election, but if you want to, go right ahead. But when you're running for the midterms in your cities and states... You guys need to shut your mouth about a foreign government. No one's going to win if you say, I will visit China or Israel or Russia or Ukraine. You're not going to win your elections. If you continue to do this, people like Mamdani are going to win your elections, whether it's on the left or right. You can easily get a communist, like someone who pretends to be on the right. You can easily get someone like that on either side. If you continue down this path, you will lose the midterms and you will lose 2028.
1,000%.
You got any further notes on that one?
I just want to say what you just said for the last 2 minutes. That's awfully anti-Semitic.
Oh, Fletcher. I'm sorry. I apologize on behalf of the people that aren't actually offended by what the hell I'm saying.
Dude, that's what you're gonna get in today's world.
I am going to be called anti-Semitic. The American Fan Podcast is anti-Semitic because we don't want to mention Israel when we're arguing about city issues. Because arguing about Israel is going to help the city of Cleveland, right?
You can't criticize a foreign government. You can't do that.
You can, as long as it's not Israel.
All of a sudden, if it's Israel, you become like anti-Semitic.
I've seen comments in a YouTube video.
It's the insane thing.
When people talk about how Trump is with Israel and stuff like that, I will actually see comments about people posting stories about how they say, yeah, I don't believe, maybe the people that they'll talk to, they'll say, like, we don't believe in, continuously funding, like, foreign entities and stuff like that. But then whenever Israel got mentioned, they would say, oh, that's different. How is that different?
It's not.
How is it different? I am against funding foreign entities. We should be funding wars, which is why I oppose the Iraq war, and I oppose the Russia-Ukraine war, and I oppose the Israel-Palestine. I oppose everything. Well, first off, I oppose innocent people dying, but I guess I'm anti-Semitic for saying that innocent people shouldn't die, apparently.
Yeah.
And I also don't like the fact that our treasure, our money, our taxpayer dollars, for what little it's worth, is going towards other people when we have homeless veterans on the street. What are you guys doing? And then this is going to lead to something else that Trump did. And actually, this is actually a great segue on what you just told me that he just did yesterday. Today is Sunday. What's today's date? Today is Sunday, the 9th. The 9th right now. What did Trump just do yesterday in regards to our taxpayer dollars?
What's coming, flash forward, 2026, beginning of the year. Medicare is going to cover the cost of Ozempic, so you can go to your doctor and get a script for Ozempic, which normally, if you were to do this and use Ozempic, You're for diabetes maybe, but for weight loss, no one's going to sign off on that because it's not covered under Medicare. Now it will be covered under the weight loss category, where you can go get a script, and the average cost is $5,600 a year for an average person to use Ozempic throughout the year. So anybody can go to their doctors, and it'll be covered by Medicare at first. But like RFK says, even though you get it covered by Medicare, which has an age constraint on it, it goes right into Medicaid within like 12 to 18 months. So everybody by the end of 2026 is going to be able to get Ozempic for free, essentially. You and I, Morgan, everybody else is paying for that. He printed up $35.5 billion. We'll just say $36 billion. He went to the Treasury, they printed it up, and they're just gonna go with it. He stripped down some forms of like Medicaid, Medicare. The MAGA supporters, the health coverage just went up dramatically. It's like, okay, why did you do that? Well, we have to have savings for other areas of government.
And they decided to fund it. So what you're telling
2 weeks ago, Argentina, you gave $40 billion. Now you threw away another, and I'm sorry if anybody's watching and they got a weight problem. I'm sorry, you threw away another $36 billion for fat people that can't get their ass on a treadmill.
Let me
eat better and lose weight that way.
Let me get this straight. Because again, you're only just telling me this. Like, I knew a little bit before we started this, but let me get this straight, just so I understand the situation, because I wasn't aware of this, so I'm only absorbing all this info, all this information.
For sure.
So Trump printed up $35 billion to put into the health insurance companies, the healthcare system, and everything, and we're going to be paying for a drug to help fat people get thinner because they don't want to go exercise.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
In the end, it's going to come from taxation to replenish that $36 billion.
So we're paying for people to get thinner because they can't get on a treadmill.
Yeah, but what they don't understand is that Ozempic was never designed to be a weight loss drug. Never.
What was it meant
to be? It's
a
diabetes drug.
Oh, shit.
That's what my coworker uses for her diabetes is Ozempic.
Yeah, it's to
regulate. I understand.
It's to regulate insulin levels in your blood, so it's a blood glucose elevator.
This is unbelievable.
And all these celebrities were using it as a weight loss, trying to promote it for everybody, saying, "Oh, hey, use this."
Yeah, I got some choice words for
some
that one.
Serious, and I'm talking serious side effects. You got, there's been over 100 cases that have caused people to go blind. Nobody's talking about it. You got over, I believe it's 10,000 people that have incurred major stomach issues. Like their stomachs have, essentially exploded. So they got major stomach repair issues. You got all sorts of stuff.
My coworker that is on it, she was diagnosed with lupus after being on Ozempic as well.
There's that.
Yeah.
After being what? I'm sorry.
Diagnosed with lupus.
Lupus.
Yeah.
Forgive me. I might know what it is. I'm not really familiar with that term.
I think it's like the kidneys.
Kidney infections.
Lupus has
Selena Gomez has it. That's all.
It has an effect over a lot of different organs. It affects people differently, but it zaps you of energy, and it causes I don't want to say a sepsis, but it causes your organs to malfunction.
Yeah.
Ooh, so you're more prone to organ failure if you have lupus.
It's just insane. Like the side effects that you could get from this drug that is not ever meant to be prescribed as a weight loss drug. Yeah, we're definitely talking about Ozempic. Yeah.
Unbelievable. And Trump is funding this?
It's manufactured and it's owned by a company named Novo Nordisk, I believe. Novo Nordisk is a European company that makes and manufactures Ozempic. They're standing to make over the next, I believe it's 5 years, if this goes through, which it did, and it gains some steam, like a snowball going downhill. It gets into Medicare first, then it'll be automatically included in Medicaid, so everybody can obtain it. They're standing to make like 3.5. Are you guys ready? 3.5, not million, not billion, $1 trillion with a T. That one company from this one process. And there's been some people online that have done some digging into Novo Nordisk, and there's a shell company that's affiliated with Israel that has been known to
It all goes back to Israel.
Ties to the Trump administration.
It always goes back to fucking Israel.
That's crazy to me.
This is literally where the meme goes. This is where the Jews are running it. And this is where this conspiracy theory comes from. Everything in our politics is leading back to a foreign government.
I know.
This sounds like a movie.
And it sounds kind of crazy, like you're a conspiracy theorist for saying it. But
just look at the data.
A lot of it, not all of the data, but a good majority of the data is accurate and it's true. It's leading back to Israel. Like I had a semi, I guess you could call it. I called it a discussion, but they got heated because I brought up the Israeli government has killed a lot of innocent children
in Gaza.
It's just a fact. You're up to like 27,000 kids now.
I thought it was high. Oh, it's just kids.
I'm talking about the kids. The adults is over 75,000 adult humans.
75,000?
Those are the adults. You add them together, it's 100,000 people.
Oh my God! So this is almost
part of the idea.
This is almost on par with the Russia-Ukraine casualty count.
That's not 100%.
Although that's more.
We're not talking about IDF members or members of the Israeli or the Gaza military. These are just citizens that got bombed. That like 27,000 kids. There's parts of kids all over the place.
And everybody's like, well,
they had a right to defend themselves. They absolutely did.
But you don't have a right to kill children.
You have committed 70, now it's up to 77 October 7th over the last 2 years. When we did the podcast where we discussed this episodes ago, it was 72. You're up to 77 because they haven't stopped bombing. They just do it under the guise of something else. Oh, we had an IDF soldier that it got bombed by Hamas. What are you talking about? Where's the footage? They don't let in international journalists. Nobody can verify
Maybe we'd be more inclined to believe the IDF if they would actually show us more shit. But the fact of the matter is the most of the footage that we see, it's innocent people being bombed by the IDF missiles that they launch.
They still, to this day, even with the quote-unquote ceasefire, which is a joke,
Did Hamas break the ceasefire?
It's like a ceasefire. It's like a ceasefire.
Wasn't it broken like that same week?
Well, that's the
Dave Smith did it.
And I'm sorry, I'm gonna say the word out loud.
What?
That was the propaganda put out there by the Israeli government. Well, Hamas broke the thing. They killed an IDF soldier. Well, where's the verification that this one soldier? So it's okay, and the very next day, it's okay for you to bomb a bus and you killed 70 people and over 25 kids in the bus because there's this soldier. And if there was a soldier that died, okay, I'm very sorry that happened.
I'm not happy about Jewish people dying.
Can we verify that Hamas did that? No, they still to this day, today, Sunday, whatever the date is, November 9th, they do not let in international journalists. It's for the safety of the journalists, Nick. It's the only modern warfare.
Oh, so you're saying it's so that innocent people don't get killed? Gee.
Well, there's no.
Why don't you take a page out of your own?
There's no verification.
Yeah, take a page out of your handbook.
There's no verification. You can't go in. Like you literally can't go in. It's never happened in modern warfare. International journalists understand the risk of going and covering warfare. You can get killed. You can die. But if you want the story, this is why international journalists that cover warfare, like when it goes back to the Iraq War, it wasn't just American journalists. You had journalists from every country on planet Earth covering the warfare. Why is that a good thing? Because then you have verification of stories. What exactly is going on? Why is the Israeli government, to this day, it's over 2.5 years, why are you blocking international journalists to this day? Why can't anybody go in and see what's going on in Gaza?
Gee, I wonder why.
Exactly, 1,000%.
The proof is in the pudding.
And me and you are not Hamas sympathizers. They're scumbags. It's a terrorist organization.
Which is, by the way, I'm very critical of the Israeli government because Netanyahu literally propped up Hamas
Correct.
to defend
1,000%.
for the reason of preventing the establishment of a Palestinian state. So guess what? If you want to hate anyone because of this conflict and Hamas existing, why don't you go look at Benjamin Netanyahu for propping them up and having Qatar fund them?
He doesn't want this war to be.
He doesn't want it. That's why he still has a position in power. Is because this war's still going.
100%,
Once this is over, he's getting the hell out.
He's going to jail. He's committed it's atrocity.
It's unbelievable. And our taxpayers are funding this. And by the way, everything that we just talked about in this episode, that we're going to comment on another thing that is related to what Trump's been doing and our government and everything, and what our taxpayers is going to. I wanted to comment a little bit on the SNAP thing, the debacle of SNAP benefits were cut or something like that because of the government shutdown or something. And I guess, and I don't know if I believe this right away, I saw one source saying that I guess Trump and everyone have finally reached a deal to reopen the government.
Alyssa was literally just telling me that over the phone on the way here.
She was telling me before we started this. Okay,
Yeah.
So I wonder if she saw the same source I did, or maybe it's become more well known. But again, we're only just reacting to this now. We don't have enough information regarding it. Supposedly they are now finally saying, yeah, we've reached a deal and now government can open back up and maybe benefits won't be cut. But I just got a few things to say on this. And, obviously one of them I'll ask you about. And that's going to be, in regards to the SNAP benefits, I have a few things. One, SNAP needs to be reformed because I don't think that SNAP should be covering things like steak and ice cream. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because I was seeing news footage of people waiting. I just watched this, I think 2 days ago, 1 or 2 nights ago, regarding people in lines at a Cleveland food bank. I'm talking long lines that could reach out to the street from where the banks are all the way out into the freaking street, the sidewalks and everything. What's up?
My dad, he was actually working a food bank this past week. And
He was?
Yeah, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday.
Uh-huh.
And he said he had to stay an extra 2 hours because they literally ran out of food and had to get more.
This is unbelievable.
Because of how many people needed it.
Look, I have a fairly moderate view when it comes to, and actually this is one of the things I want to comment on, so that's actually a perfect thing to bounce back on. I'm not saying we shouldn't pay into anything. I do believe that people deserve a pick-me-up if their circumstances are unfortunate. You do what you need to do. But again, this is why I say SNAP shouldn't be covering ice cream. I'm sorry, that dessert should not be on there. Because that's for you are too poor and you need to provide for a family. You need to get your essentials, your fruits, your vegetables, your chicken.
People with low blood sugar.
People with low blood sugar,
They need the sugar because or at least
Wait, is this regarding the ice cream thing or just sugar in general?
Yes.
Yeah, but do they need ice cream for the blood sugar thing? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Fletch. Actually, this would be
my wheelhouse. No, you don't need.
No, you don't need ice cream.
You don't need ice cream.
Okay, but is there an argument to be made for SNAP covering something like a dessert or a snack
I'm
of some
saying
sort?
for instance sugar
I know what Morgan's saying. That's why they're using it. It's a cheap way to it's like popping a candy bar. It's a cheap way to elevate your sugar levels if you're diabetic or have diabetic
instead of taking
diabetic symptoms where your blood sugar is always wavering. You could pop a candy bar, you can eat a little bit of ice cream, and you balance out a little more. There is more efficient ways of doing that. Why don't you eat fresh fruit that has a little bit of sugar content? Right. I know what you're saying.
Right.
Why not eliminate the ice cream and force them to buy a healthier option?
My grandma, she did orange juice all the time. That's the only thing she did.
That's a great way to do that.
And this is what I'm saying.
Dates. She did dates too.
Dates have a little bit of,
She did dates and orange juice that whenever she was low.
And this is what I'm trying to tell people.
Even an apple has
Even
a
an
little
apple.
sugar.
And see, this is what I'm trying to say is you do what you need to do, and if you're just a person trying to provide for their family, whether you're a single mom or a single father or you're a family together and you need it, I do believe, by the way, that if you are a single mother, I do believe you should be able to get benefits. Not saying, oh, you're a middle class, so because you make $1,000 more than the threshold, you can't get it. By the way, I find that to be complete BS. If you're rich, you get tax breaks, but if you're poor, you get benefits. If you're people like us three, we don't get crap. And that's another problem I have with this situation, is these people are getting in line instead of applying for a freaking job and providing for their family. Because if their benefits are cut, sorry, if, like right now, God forbid, Fletcher, if your hours get cut, Morgan, if my hours get cut, guess what? We don't have any. I know you're going to say, well, you have a savings account or whatever. Like, yeah, good luck saving in 2025 when the economy is in the toilet right now. We're surprised we're not in a recession at this point. But even if I just grant, we don't have these benefits. We don't get these crutches that these poor people get, where they can just use our taxpayer dollars and just go and flaunt it or whatever. They buy steaks, they buy desserts, they buy everything like that. Again, I'm not here to condemn any family member that is using it for the right reasons. But this is what I mean about the healthcare system. This is what I mean about the benefit system. We need significant reform because it's not working. And now you got these people arguing on the left and right, like say the government shut down time because these Democrats, and it's happening because the Republicans, like you told me that supposedly they were going to reach a vote regarding the release of Epstein files that Thomas Massey said. And then coincidentally enough, when they had the final vote that would have been the deciding factor releasing them, government shutdown, that's a whole nother thing. But regardless of that, we need a reform on this. Why is SNAP benefits being cut is now why people, instead of getting a job or they're actually trying to do something to better their lives, they're just waiting in line for food banks.
Agreed.
Because benefits that we all fund are being cut because our politicians are so incompetent. I don't know. It's just so frustrating to me. When I pay into something, when I pay my police officers, I want them to do their job and enforce the law, whatever the law is. When I'm paying my sheriffs, it's the same thing. My EMT, all these people, I pay them to do their job. It's the same thing with the benefits. If I am paying to benefits, it needs to be for the well-being of people, not because people just want to go buy sirloin steaks. Or in some cases, filet mignon, which is an expensive cut. I don't know. It's just been on my mind for a while. It's been on my mind for years. There's a point where I said we shouldn't pay any taxes, but I understand we all use roads, we all use EMT, we all use the police for whatever, like security, or, if someone's doing a bad thing, you call the cops or something like that. But I don't know. I'm just really frustrated with this, guys. You guys got to do better. I don't know.
I feel like a little dragon.
Yeah, because of the...
I feel like Puff. Remember the story of Puff? Puff the magic dragon.
She just mocked him as she was doing. Do you guys have any thoughts on what I said, though? Because I know that you kind of have...
I agree with you. There are better ways to spend some of the money. I think they cut a little bit into the muscles, so to speak.
Oh, by the way, illegal immigrants getting SNAP benefits, I oppose that equally. Sorry,
100%. Yeah,
and I cannot believe, that's another thing, too. I'm sorry. They need to do better background checks on this. They need to say, oh, you're actually like diabetic, okay, you will get like a special SNAP benefit or something saying you're going to need this stuff to elevate your blood sugar levels and stuff like that. But if you're just an average person, you don't have a lot of health issues other than arthritis or something, then you'd be like, okay, this card will get you what you need, but you can't use it on like ice cream sundaes. That's just my thing. But illegals getting benefits, strongly oppose that. If you're illegal, sorry, you shouldn't be getting.
Wait till what happens in New York City.
What I don't understand is with food stamps, you can get ice cream, but you can't get a whole rotisserie chicken.
You can't get rotisserie chickens with that?
No.
Why?
Because it's already prepared food.
Well, I know why. You know why it is?
You can't get prepared food with food
Well,
stamps.
our friend zoomed in
Really?
site.
I never knew that. Did
Yeah.
you know that?
What
You can't get prepared food. You can go get like fruits, vegetables, but you can't get like something that's already been prepared by the grocery store. You know,
Nope.
like if it's a rotisserie chicken,
I forget
if
where
it's
I-
meatloaf, if it's pasta,
Well,
whatever.
I forget, but I know it was actually on a sitcom, and like they like said this is actually the truth. We wanted to spread it out there.
Wow,
And then
I didn't know that.
then I forgot which sitcom it was, but it did get canceled after one season.
Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah, it was
No,
it
this
was
is
like an
insane.
Arabic
Let me
Arabic
think.
woman using food stamps to buy a rotisserie chicken, and then this Latina lady was like, "Oh, you can't buy with prepared foods."
Unbelievable.
And then I looked it up, and it was like true.
I was asking because yesterday I was helping my friend's sister a Zoomed Insight. Shout out to you, man, for this info. When I asked him why is it that Snap covers ice cream, but it doesn't cover. Actually, in this case, I wish I would have known this. It doesn't fund like rotisserie chickens, and he said it's because they want you guys to get fat and unhealthy and stuff. I agree with that, but regardless, my opinions still stand. They need a reform because they shouldn't be covering ice cream, should be helping with what you need. And the fact that a government shutdown is causing this much debacle because millions of people don't want to get a better job and actually work harder, I don't know. Got a problem with that.
Look what happened with the Ozempic decision.
Exactly.
I mean, I was under the impression
Which ties into
you get Bobby Kennedy on board, you get RFK Jr. like make America healthy again. I was thinking,
how are we making America healthier?
this decision is when he first got the assignment of health secretary, he did a beautiful dissertation on the pharmaceutical industry. You can Google it. You can on YouTube. I mean, and just watch it. It's like an hour long. Everything he discusses the exact drug. He talks about Ozempic, about Novo Nordisk, about the company itself, like how we have to steer away from drugs like this. And then how many months later, you got the president of the United States signing something in that they're going to cover this with Medicare, eventually Medicaid, and the taxpayer is who's going to like foot the bill.
These
For
people,
fat people to go to the doctor and get a free $5,600 drug in a year's period of time to lose weight, rather than everything Bobby talked about at the beginning was about eating healthy, getting off of pharmaceutical drugs, and trying to eat the right foods and cleaning up our food options. Like taking all the glyphosate, taking all the nasty chemicals out of food production. Well, if you're putting Ozempic in your body and you're not diabetic, and that's not your last resort drug for a diabetic, you're just taking it simply because you're lazy and you want to lose weight, what is that?
and yet
That is like the oxymoronic thing of make America healthy again.
And yet
It's
these
all
people,
bullshit.
mocked Trump for saying that taking hydroxychloroquine was good for you and stuff. They ridiculed him for that. By the way, it's now been proven. Don't look at me. Look at the CDC and everyone else, or at least stories regarding people who took like
It's
methylene.
effective.
It's effective and stuff.
It's effective.
But no one is going after Trump for saying, "Oh, Ozempic's great for you," when it has some of the worst side effects for you. And he just decided to pour close to $36 billion into this. Gee, where's the ridicule?
Blindness, impotence, major stomach disorders, loss of hair. I mean, there's a litany of like major side effects. And that's just now. These are the people that are actually paying for the drug.
My dad once told me when the election was, I think this was fairly early on. I think this was like, I had a talk with my dad. I think this was like in May, I think. And, he gives interesting insights on our politics. I remember when I asked him, like, that Trump's not really a Republican, right? He goes, no, he's a 1980s Democrat. I actually think that's not the case anymore. I think he's a 2000s Democrat where they started being super pro. I'm not saying they weren't doing this in the 80s, but I think it's more prevalent than ever that the Democrats have just become more pro big pharma when traditionally liberals were against big pharma, and I feel like that's what Trump is adapting. He's really not a Republican. He may have ran as one because the left hated him so much, but he's no different than your average 2000s Democrat who said, "Yeah, we should just bow down to the pharmaceutical companies."
We talked a bit about this on the last podcast. Your boy, who I disagree probably 90% of the time with him, but he does have some good points.
Talking about Cenk?
About Cenk.
Cenk Uygur?
He's an establishment guy. He's taking care of the rich people around him. He doesn't care about the little guy. I thought that was inaccurate. I thought this second time around, he was going to become one of the 5 best presidents of all time.
He could have been, but he just
Could have
chose
been,
not to.
and he's chosen.
And a lot of people who don't like him anymore even said, like Dave Smith and my father said, he could have been great, but he just decided to be done. I like what Scott Horton said. He said, when the world needed Ron Paul, we got Donald Trump.
It's 100%.
I actually like that
That's
statement.
100% accurate, right or wrong?
No, it's completely
100%
right.
accurate.
And I really thought, and again, I don't regret my choice of voting for him necessarily. Maybe I should have gone for a third party, but Harris just would have destroyed everything. But apparently,
I agree with you.
But Trump is definitely destroying things bit by bit, and who knows if this video is even going to age well in 3 years.
I didn't look at it as like, he was a bad candidate. I just looked at it as he's a better option than Harris, and he still will always be a better option than Harris. He could have really been transcendent for the country. He had everything aligned. Everything went his way.
The perfect team for
and he's
it.
got the perfect team, and he just dropped the ball.
Yep, and I hate
His
it.
allegiance,
I hate
his allegiance is to the billionaire class. It's not to the middle class. He promised to reestablish, reinvigorate the middle class. He has not done that.
And he did that in his first term. The middle class thrived under him. People my age and your age, Fletcher, were buying houses left and right. I can name you 5 to 10 people that would post online saying, got our keys to the new house or the apartment or something like that. I mean,
Can't buy a house now.
Yeah, you can't buy a house anymore. What's Trump doing about the
houses.
housing market?
You can't buy a house now. I can't.
Yeah, you used to flip houses like it was like a side hobby of yours. Like you would just flip houses.
14 houses in my life. I have not bought a house.
I feel like when we first met, Fletch.
Yeah.
I heard a story every month saying, I'm flipping a
I flipped a house right across.
You were
the street
flipping
from
houses
where you
left and
work.
right. You were like, I'm working on a project here, working on a project.
That's why I saw you so much inadvertently.
Because you stopped. I used to work at Home Depot. You stopped by there. That was like your
together.
side.
That's how we became such good. I'd see him a couple times a week, minimal.
I would help him sometimes
3 or
with his
4.
lumber because he would start picking some up.
You can't do it anymore.
Yeah, you don't even do that anymore.
We're right at a good time slot. Let's give him a little nugget about what's coming on next week's episode. We'll do a couple segments. It's my fault this week. I got some work to do, and I got to fly to Tampa, Florida tomorrow.
Yeah, he's a busy guy. He's
Yeah.
a busy guy.
So that's okay, but we'll do a couple segments next week. We want to do a movie review, maybe?
Yes,
We haven't
because
done one in a
we
hot
are
minute.
going to see the new Predator Badlands movie.
I can't wait to see that.
I'm very excited. And guess what? So if you remember, Fletcher, at my old place in Cleveland, when you came over for my birthday, and my friend, our friend David, he said, "Hey, we should put on a parade," because I had already watched it with my brother.
Yes,
but a lot of people like yourself and
I hadn't saw it yet.
Like you hadn't seen it yet, and you loved it. And when she walked in, by the way, I think we established it when I finally fully showed you the parade movie, sweetheart. I think you had only watched an hour of the movie. You had missed the first 40 minutes, I think. And then you finally came in and watched it. And you said even just the hour you loved and fully watching, you said it was amazing. It's your favorite Predator movie, isn't it? And I still love the first just because I love the cast and I love the individual Predator being the hunter.
I agree.
Whereas the later ones, and I'm not saying Prey didn't have that. You did have the one Predator. I just think, and I thought the cast of Prey was good. By the way, something I disagree with conservatives on the culture war was they were saying that Prey was a woke movie. I didn't see wokeness, and they were saying that because the main character was, female and went against the tribe and stuff. I didn't see it as woke.
Again.
I thought it was. It's just again. This is my problem with conservatives. They like to say everything's woke because it's not like super traditional. But then again, the left is crazy when they say that, a woman that has no fighting experience can beat someone that's of Hulk Hogan level. But that's a whole nother thing. So look forward to a movie review on that and a follow-up on conspiracy theories.
Follow-up on conspiracy
Considering
theories.
the last episode was screwed, if you haven't watched that video already. So yeah, we'll just go from there.
Yeah,
Look
we'll
forward
go
to that
from there.
next week. So thanks you guys for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in. We got a little party in the USA coming every week.
do.
Yeah. So we'll see you guys next week. Have a great week.
Take
And
it
thanks for
easy,
watching.
guys.